Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Moving Right Along, a Muppet movie podcast brought to you by toughpigs.com. It's the podcast where we watch The Muppets Take Manhattan 2 minutes at a time and talk about it a lot. I'm your host, Anthony Strand.
And I'm your other host, Ryan Rowe.
And joining us today, we have one of our bosses at toughpigs.com. Who is it?
My name is Jarrod Fairclough, previously of MuppetMindset.com. Now I'm slowly taking over Tough Pigs. Ryan, I'm here to fire you. I'm sorry.
My newest boss man.
Oh, all right.
No.
Sorry.
It's been a good run.
Yeah, I mean, you've done well, but it's time for some new blood.
Thanks.
All right. Well, welcome aboard, Chief. All right.
For those who can't see us, Anthony just did a scooter fist.
I called Jarrod Chief. I have to do a scooter fist.
Yeah, I just want to make sure everybody knows that you weren't, falling down on the job.
That's the first time I've been called boss. I'm loving it. Like, I've got a real sense of power to me now, and this is only going to go poorly. So let's continue on.
All right, and the boss man, the big boss man, is joining us today to discuss minutes 83 and 84 of Muppets Take Manhattan. In these minutes, Kermit sings "Right Where I Belong" and then realizes what was missing from Manhattan Melodies. But before any of that happens, we start with Piggy. And what does Piggy say? So, you guys, tell me if I'm wrong. Because as far as I can tell, Piggy does not say, "Kermit, remember the opening number." She does not say, "Can you remember the opening number?" She says, "Remember the opening number?"
I did. I actually played it a couple times trying to figure out exactly what she was saying.
Yeah,
me too.
My assumption was that because with this podcast, like, halfway through a syllable, like, it gets cut off. So my assumption was that the previous 2 minutes had ended with her saying, like, Kermit, and then it, like, this was like,
no.
Do you remember the opening number? But,
no, this is the start of her statement.
Okay, I'm gonna have to...
So if she's saying remember the opening number, then it would be like if she had said, "Hey, you big joker, you remember the opening number?"
Right.
Do you remember the opening number? Do you remember the opening number? Do you remember the opening number?
Yeah, all right.
But no, it's a little surprising that they used that take.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And whatever, I've never noticed until now. None of us have, I don't think,
Well,
it's not like
that's because we're over-analyzing. I've only watched this 2 minutes for the last, 3 days.
Right, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, I watched it, I don't know, this particular time.
I mean...
7 or 8 times,
there's
probably.
There's a couple of things that I'd never noticed, and, we'll get to it as we go along. But, there's a couple of things in this where I'm like, wait, why is that in there? Or... There's little silly bits, but we'll get to that.
I was just looking back, and the last time I think that we had you here, Jarrod, we were talking about Piggy's Fantasy in the Great Muppet Caper, and you pointed out to us that there was a few frames where you could see that Piggy had 3 arms.
Yes.
In that sequence, where they had one arm that was going up at the same time as the other arm was going down. So, yeah, you obviously have a good eye for detail.
I do, and I did, and I mean that's part of what I noticed during this as well. But if you notice in this one, both a jacket comes off and a jacket comes on, which is the same as last time I was here. So I don't know whether or not I just have the scenes with jackets. I don't know what's going on. But
it's so funny how often that happens with where our guests have unexpected patterns to the things that they come on for.
Evan is the Muppets getting hit by vehicles guy.
Yes.
And Jarrod is the jackets on and off guy.
That's apparently. It. I don't know if any jackets come off in Christmas Carol, but I'm looking forward to finding out.
I promise you jackets come off in Christmas Carol.
Yeah.
A movie that takes place during the winter and everyone's wearing Victorian dress.
True. All right. I'm looking forward to the jacket episode for that one. But
right.
Well, can I say what I noticed with this one is that Kermit, his arms fly out at one point when he's singing his song, and Fozzie takes off his jacket, which, can we just quickly say, is terrifyingly realistic. I remember when I was a kid and I saw Fozzie, take that jacket off. It just freaked me out when I was a kid as well, and it hasn't got any less eerie, Uncanny Valley. But Kermit's obviously...
It looks really good. It's very seamlessly done.
It's smooth.
It just... I mean,
he just slides it right off his arms.
I guess we're
we will.
Jumping ahead a little bit.
I might be jumping ahead, but what I was just going to say, related to jackets, is that Fozzie takes that off, but then obviously the arm rods are on Kermit, so that jacket can't actually come off. But then we never see the bottom half of like Kermit's arms again. So I'm assuming the jacket's just like bundled up down around his arm rods. And just like everyone just stand in front, like everyone get the puppets in front of Kermit, so that we don't see how awkward that has to look, because that has to be there.
Yeah, huh.
The next thing that happens is all the other Muppets crowd around Kermit. So yeah, I guess that jacket is just bunched up right below the frame.
Has to be. And then Gonzo goes to put the other jacket on, and so I have no idea. That's again, overanalyzing this for 2 minutes. I'll never be able to watch this movie properly again.
But I'm just endlessly impressed at how good these guys are at figuring out how to pull this stuff off.
Yeah.
Literally, in this case.
Right. But before we get to the Mr. Rogers-esque coat exchange, what we do start with is a melancholy reprise of Right Where I Belong from Kermit. And as we discussed at the time when they were launching into a great opening number, and it goes like this. Dun, 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 dun. There's no original version of Right Where I Belong. It does not exist. We hear, look at me, here I am, right where I belong. That's all we ever got earlier in the movie. So this is a sad, slow reprise of an upbeat number that does not exist. but it absolutely feels like it's the reprise, right?
Yeah, it's funny. We have never heard this much of the song.
Yeah.
Well, also,
we've never heard more than one couplet of the song before now.
Piggy has said to him, do you remember the opening number? And so he starts singing it. But then we see the opening number, and that song's not in it.
Yes, you're right. The opening number is Together Again.
It's Together Again. So I have no idea. There's no logic to this film whatsoever.
What a confusing show Manhattan Melodies is.
Yeah, Manhattan Melodies is ridiculous. But what I was going to say is, has that ever happened in another musical? Like, where we're given a song that doesn't quite happen, and then there's an emotional reprise of it?
I'm sure it has.
My suspicion is that it must have, because there are many, many musicals, but I can't think of any examples now.
It's kind of amazing how well it works. Like, how well the audition scenes plant that song in our head as a song that exists.
Right, we've heard those two lines so many times that it just...
Yeah, but what about... I don't know if... It probably doesn't count. But obviously with this film, they're seen Together Again. And then in Muppets Most Wanted, they reprise, I guess, Together Again at the end. But if you'd never seen this movie, you'd have no idea that that's not an original song.
Right,
so that kind of works, I guess.
It's a reprise... Yeah, it's a reprise 30 years later.
Yeah, exactly right.
Which also sort of is sort of dependent on the movie, the original title of the movie, which was The Muppets Again. The fact that they're bringing back a song called Together Again and calling it Together Again, but then they changed the name to Muppets Most Wanted, so that makes even less sense.
Right. And speaking of the 2010s era Muppet movies, the next thing that happens while Kermit is singing the song, he looks at all of his buddies and he says the line, "I see that face coming back to me like an old familiar song." It never registered until now. Pictures in my head from the 2011 movie feels like this if Kermit's not actually with his friends. Like, that's what Pictures in my head is, right? It's I see your face coming back to me like an old familiar song, but just not as good because that song's not very good.
Yeah, I guess in that case, do you think he forgot about his friends in the Muppets 2011 movie?
I think he sure forgot about making millions of people happy, right?
I guess that's true. That's how it's presented. So then
he also forgot to pay his landscaper because his garden's a mess in that film.
Oh yeah, his whole house, his whole estate is.
Yeah, is Kermit a hoarder? He feels like he just has hoarder energy in that film.
He has a bunch of tab. We know that.
Huh. Yeah. He's been hoarding that stuff since the 80s.
And there's definitely going to be some old newspapers in his house. And a cat that probably isn't alive anymore.
Oh no!
Maybe he has the New York Sun that says somebody's getting married on it. In his house.
Maybe he does. That's a nice little teaser for later.
Yeah. But anyways, what I was also going to say about these lines is like so much of this movie, this always kind of feels bittersweet to me at the end, you know, like saying goodbye does for a similar reason.
Yeah.
But this, like, you know, what better place could anyone be because you're here with me? Like, it's like, you know, yeah, we want these guys to stay together forever.
Meaning the performers and the
Muppet
and like,
people,
yeah.
Right, and like the whole like Muppet Show gang really did 3 more projects together after this ever. Right? It's the celebration of 30 years, Muppet Family Christmas, and Muppets at Walt Disney World. Frank Oz didn't really work on the Jim Henson Hour. Richard Hunt barely worked on the Jim Henson Hour, you know?
Yeah, I mean, there's Muppet Vision 3D, but I guess that's really it.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, there's also, it does feel like there's something of a meta element to it, too, just because
Jerry Nelson didn't work on Muppet Vision 3D, by the way.
Right, yeah. But just because...
I've never put that together, sorry.
I think we figured that out on this podcast.
Yeah,
I don't think we had either ever realized it before.
We were wondering if Lou Zealand was in it, and not only isn't he, Jerry Nelson didn't work on it.
Yeah.
So.
Is there, do we know, I mean, I was going to ask if you know why, but this isn't Muppet Vision 3D 2 minutes at a time. So we won't go into that now. But yeah, no,
I don't know why, although this alert listener, Noah Genex, wrote me a couple episodes ago, and we had said something, like we were speculating about how much Jerry Nelson was involved in this one. And apparently, I have not double checked this, but apparently in the book by Joe Bailey, who was a Muppet Show and Sesame Street writer, he talked about how Jerry Nelson was apparently only on the set for a few days of this because he basically just didn't want to leave his lovely home in Cape Cod. So there are actually very few scenes in this movie that Jerry Nelson participated, but enough that, you know, it's still the whole gang.
Right. Well, but I mean, who does he play in this movie? Floyd?
Yeah, do we hear? I guess we do hear Floyd's
Crazy Harry at the end. We'll see Crazy Harry at the wedding,
and Camilla, and does Robin have anything to do?
Nope,
maybe not.
I'm pretty sure.
So yeah, he's not really in this.
Jerry Nelson plays Jenny in this, doesn't he?
Yes, he does play Jenny.
He's
in
very good.
Scenes.
Yes. Master of voices, that man.
No, Jarrod, that's a woman. Men have beards.
Well done.
Cut that out. That's terrible.
Nope.
All right.
Leave it in.
All right.
What I was getting at, though, is it the meta element of like this group of co-workers who worked on the Muppet Show, and then sort of some of them went off to work on other projects. Some of them were, you know, they're not working together continuously like they did back in the Muppet Show days. So it kind of resonates the same way with, you know, the together again thing, the seeing the faces coming back to me thing. It feels like it's as much about the people who worked on this movie as the characters.
Right. So then next, as Jarrod already mentioned, Kermit keeps singing, and Fozzie takes off Kermit's suit coat for him, which, in addition to being a neat puppetry trick, as you said, is such a nice character moment for Fozzie. Like, of course Fozzie's the one to do that for him.
Yeah.
I think that's perfect. And then Gonzo, right, his second best friend, Gonzo, puts on his sparkly purple jacket for the number.
Yeah, which is accomplished with another, like a puppet / editing trick where the Muppets all crowd around him as he goes up to the door, and then it cuts to the other side of the door, and Kermit kind of bursts through, and now he's wearing the jacket. So they never actually have to have Gonzo put the jacket on him. It just happens in the split second between.
He just sort of waves it in front of him.
Right. It's just through the magic of editing. Now he's wearing the jacket on the other side of the door.
I don't know if you guys have spoken about this already, but have we talked about what Fozzie looks like without a hat on?
We actually just did last week.
Yeah, I figured, okay, we won't go on about it then. It's just Fozzie without a hat, he just, like, how can a character look bald but be so hairy?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it possible, too, that this this particular build of the puppet looks even more. I should look at the Fozzie Bear through the years on. Yeah, is his head even more pear-shaped than the Muppet Show version?
Well, had they done a bit of a rebuild of the characters before this film?
I don't know when the last time Fozzie was rebuilt before this.
Because I know Piggy looks a little bit different than she did in the last couple of films.
Piggy looks a little bit worse than she did before.
Well, that hair.
Oh, yeah, that's the main thing.
The very first thing I wrote when I did my notes for this was Piggy's super 80s hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a mess.
Yeah, although, again, she keeps it through Muppet Family Christmas. That's what's really disappointing, is that they stuck with it for a few years.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I had some terrible hair for a while. Ever made.
Yeah, I have some terrible hair right now, which I mean, it's leaving me. It's walking. It's saying goodbye. But anyways, so as Ryan mentioned, Kermit busts through the door, kind of bursts through the door, and to me, that is one of the most joyful moments in this entire movie.
Mm-hmm.
Is Kermit bursting through that door and saying, "Here we go." Which is such a, let's put on a show, hey, everybody,
And by this point, the music has built up, because it started with that, "Look at me, here I am," sort of a little bit melancholy, I think you said, but then it picks up, and then as it does, the Muppets start to do their, bouncing up and down, swaying back and forth, dancing, and by the time they burst out the door, it's totally yeah, here we go, we're going on to put on a show. Yeah, it's great.
Right, it's great.
Again, completely overanalyzing it. I did notice a mistake in that Kermit walks through the door in the last shot with his tie, and he bursts through the door with no tie.
Whoa!
Just saying.
That's magic. That's not a mistake.
I hope someone got fired.
That's the magic of that's stage magic, Jarrod.
Oh, that's what it was.
That's the magic of Broadway.
Or he was wearing a clip-on, and he really quickly just yanked it and threw it off the shot.
Tore it off.
One of the other Muppets accidentally pulled it off.
Yeah.
Wow, that is such a good... See, we should be looking for stuff like that all the time. I'm sure there's so many of these kind of continuity mistakes that we've missed.
Yeah. Yeah, I also noticed as Kermit goes... let's go, everybody, and runs through. There's clearly a bunch of Muppets on the side, and he just completely blanks them and runs.
Yeah.
Is he rude?
Oh, but you know what? The sparkly purple jacket has a bow tie attached to it that's sort of just hanging off to the side.
True.
So...
True.
I mean, it doesn't justify the necktie disappearing, but I guess he couldn't be wearing two ties. So.
Now, again, I don't know whether or not you've already referenced this, but these jackets that they're wearing have the giant collar things on them. And they're the exact same design that they're wearing during We're Doing a Sequel.
Mm.
Oh,
to the point where I actually, in my head, I'm like, is that the same outfit? That would have been a nice little thing. And it's not. They're wearing white and gold in
Muppets
Most Wanted, or blue and black, if that's what colour you thought the dress was.
Yeah,
that was a dumb joke. But they both got the giant pointy collars almost, which I know doesn't make sense when you're talking about Muppets because you're thinking of Kermit's collar.
Large lapels.
Large lapels, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, just in that little thing I noticed.
Seems like it must have been intentional by the time they got around to Muppets Most Wanted.
Well, and especially because that like we mentioned, that movie has Together Again in it.
Yes.
That movie ends with Kermit and Piggy having a wedding.
Yes.
True. I mean, people talk about that being the Great Muppet Caper one, but it's secretly also the Muppets Take Manhattan, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But anyways, what happens next in the actual Muppets Take Manhattan is that all the other Muppets are backstage. Fozzie says, "Can our friends watch the show from backstage?" Now, before we get to Kermit's response, I just want to point out that there are so many of them.
So many.
There's no way that many Muppets could watch from the wings and be able to see.
Yeah, I mean, they're spilling out the door there.
Yeah. So this is an absurd question in the first place.
Yeah. You know what I noticed is we see some of the bears, they were with Fozzie. We see chickens, they were with Gonzo, dogs. I think that is this Rufus in the middle?
I think so, yeah.
Nice to see Rufus, a very early Muppet dog. And then the frogs are there for some reason, Kermit's coworkers. But
speaking of which, speaking of the frogs, I never noticed before that after Fozzie says that, Gil the frog says, Phil?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never noticed that before. That's incredible.
No, I had not noticed it either, but I love
he
it.
Said Phil. I thought he said like Gil, like he just said his name again. But that's again one of those things that I noticed. I thought he just went Gil. I was like, why are you saying your own name?
But he goes,
Phil. He's
Phil.
very startled to see his coworker wearing this flashy costume.
It makes more sense for him to say Phil.
Funny.
Yes,
it does. But when I was watching these minutes, I was so excited. I ran out to the other room and showed my wife Roz because I was just like, "Did you know this?" And she didn't either, and she was very amused also.
Yeah, it made me laugh out loud because
and it's one of those things where it's like, I'm so glad we're doing this because I will never not notice it again.
Yeah,
you know,
right? Yeah. Well, I also noticed
but anyways,
looks like
Ryan, what were you?
It looks like Jill and Bill are being performed by the same puppeteer, possibly because their heads are very close together.
Okay.
But then, so like we also have the Swedish chef who came with Scooter, but where's New Zealand? He came with Scooter too, and he's just he's one of the few major characters that we don't see in this crowd of Muppets backstage.
Well,
I hope he is in the audience throwing fish.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, that's who Jerry Nelson plays in this. We didn't.
Oh, yes. That was what. Yeah. Okay. Apparently, that was one of the days that he was on set was to play New Zealand.
Why? Where did Bunsen and Beaker come from? I haven't watched the movie for a while.
Well, Bunsen and Beaker are in a deleted scene with the Electric Mayhem.
That's right. Yes.
And
but
when you see them get the telegram from Pete, Bunsen and Beaker are there.
Yep.
With
you can catch a very brief glimpse of them. Yeah.
Okay. Because otherwise they've just turned up. It was weird that they didn't get a bigger part in this film. Like, it's already a big film anyway, but for two characters that are like such main characters, to be relegated to a cameo.
Right. And in the two storybook adaptations in the 90s, like, they both get featured parts, and Beaker gets referred to by name as Beaker in both of them, which is something that no one else does. Almost Rizzo, I guess. But
although even then they had a song that got cut.
You're right.
In Christmas Carol, but still,
as we will discuss later,
And remind me, do we catch a glimpse of Beauregard when they get the telegram?
Yes, Beauregard is clearly visible, and so is Beaker.
Because he's here too. You can just barely see him behind Fozzie. But he's in the crowd too. But New Zealand is not, as far as I can tell.
Have we pointed out that one of the bears is Bobo before Bobo was around?
Yeah. We saw Bobo back in the cave.
Oh, did we?
Too. We talked about him then. Yeah.
It was funny watching the speaking to well, at this point this will have come out, so I can say this. Speaking to Bill Beretta for the to introduce our guest star, he pointed out that Bobo had been used like in previous things before, and so I went and had a little look at some of the previous usages of Bobo before he was Bobo. And there's one in, I don't remember what it was called now off the top of my head, but it was the exact same puppet, but they put more cartoony eyes on him, and I don't like it. I don't like that at all.
Sure. Yeah, because here he looks just like himself. Here he's just Bobo,
These bears are all, I think, deliberately a little bit more realistic looking than Fozzie.
Yeah.
The bears that they built for this movie to be in the cave.
Was this the first time you think that puppet had been used?
I do. Because when we see bears on the Muppet Show, they're like Billy the Bear, the stand-up comedian. Yeah. Who is like more realistic than Fozzie, but is also
still a little bit,
yeah, a little bit cartoony. Is a hand puppet. Like those are the ones that we saw. Whereas here, there's like a bunch of these more realistic bears, and also I think all three of the show.
Yeah, all three of the bears that we see in this backstage shot are, when we see them on stage, they're full-bodied puppets, right?
Yeah.
Like there's somebody inside, like it's a full costume.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas by the time Bobo becomes a character, I guess they sort of adapted the puppet to be closer to a hand puppet, although he is a very large puppet. He's much bigger and bulkier than most of the hand puppet Muppets.
Right. Anyways, getting back to the movie, Kermit tells Fozzie, no, they cannot watch the show from backstage. They're going to be in the show because that's what was missing from Manhattan Melodies. more dogs and bears and chickens and whatever. And some would argue that's what's been missing from this entire movie.
Absolutely. Kermit has just realized that what they should be doing is a Muppet movie.
Right, which, our previous guest, Tough Pigs founder Danny Horn, that's always been his thing about this movie, is that he thinks there's not enough Muppets in it. And, like, watching it right after Great Muppet Caper, it really does feel empty in that way. I love this movie. I think it's a terrific movie. But, like, Great Muppet Caper, they're at the Happiness Hotel, they're on the bus, they're at the Mallory Gallery, there's, like, Muppets bursting out of the frame, in so many of those scenes. And here at the end, this is the only time that happens in this one.
Yeah, it's such an epiphany. It feels like such a relief to see all these guys finally.
Well, I think as really well, they've spent the vast majority of this film apart. And so, like, we only get, like, a snippet here, a snippet there, a snippet here, a snippet there, aside from, say, Kermit and Piggy themselves. And so, yeah, like, of course you should be together. Like, that's what the Muppets do. And so it's nice to finally have them figure that out, because we've been sitting here going, get your act together, guys.
Although, I think it is a worthwhile idea to try a story where you separate them in order to confirm that they should be apart. Like, by the end of the movie...
In order to confirm that they should be apart, is what you just said?
You separate them... Thank you. You separate them in order to confirm that they should be together. Because by the end of the movie, that's the message. It's like they want to be together again. They should be together again. They have to be together again.
Well, and also, like I just said, but I think this movie's terrific.
Yes.
I don't regret that they did it. I don't think it's a misfire. You know what I mean?
No.
Like,
it's just a little bit different, yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, now the Muppets are all in the show, which, they all, like, excitedly follow Kermit right out, and suddenly they're in costumes in the show, which, this is another thing people love to harp on. I love this. Yes, I love the idea that you step on stage at Manhattan Melodies and you're just dressed for it. You know the choreography, you know the words.
And you have whatever props you need.
Right. Like, I don't think logistics matter.
Yeah, I like the way they were arguing about logistics when this is a movie about a talking frog, talking bears, talking pigs. Yeah.
Right, but not a talking chicken. That's very important.
Not in this
Chickens
one. Chickens
cannot talk in this one.
Yeah.
They can on the Jim Henson Hour. But anyways, yeah, so now they actually go, we smash cut to the playbill for Manhattan Melodies. And the curtain opens,
That, by the way, is a prop that I would love to own one of those.
Man, can you imagine?
Yeah, that would be great.
I completely forgot this existed until just now. I might have one. The reason being,
a real one?
Well, not from the movie, but I bought I'd say 10 years ago, just in an antique store fairly local to me, there was a press kit for Muppets Take Manhattan, and I think there's a playbill in there, and now I have to figure out where the heck it is. But nice. I think I might actually have one somewhere.
Wow, you should send it to Ryan.
So we see this person holding it. I think this is what we should do, and no one listening to the podcast give away what I want to do. I think we should start a rumor about who that is holding it, because
okay.
Because maybe we could pick whoever you like, but a bunch of Muppet performers have cameos in these films. It could be someone, could be Muppet performer, could be Orson Welles, could be Barack Obama, young, whoever it is. Like, let's just start a rumor.
It's funny. I was just gonna say Nancy Reagan.
Who knows? Maybe it could be.
See.
It's a fairly masculine hand.
I think it is a man's hand. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Now that I'm looking at it again.
Yeah. All right.
So
yeah, it could be anybody.
Could be anybody.
There you go. Weirdly, it's film director Billy Wilder. I don't know why. I don't know what he's doing there, but he wanted to see Manhattan Melodies.
How old was Billy Wilder in 1984?
Billy Wilder was 78 years old in 19. He was born in 1906. So,
did those look like 78-year-old hands?
He had makeup on.
Do those look like old Austrian hands? What if it was?
I just want to make sure if this is the rumor we're going to spread. I want to make sure we're all.
I had no idea who Billy Wilder was before today.
Oh, you should see. I mean, I'm sure you know of like Sunset Boulevard.
Oh yeah.
Or Some Like It Hot. Or The Apartment. Yeah.
Oh, that was him, was it? Okay.
Yeah.
I actually had heard.
He's my favorite director.
I had heard that it was Elvis Presley after he faked his death.
Oh, okay.
That's what I had heard, and so I'm not going for it. I'd heard him and Jim were friends, and that Jim snuck him in there. That's what I'd heard, but I'm not going to go on about it.
People are saying.
So that is the word that is on the street. That's what people are saying.
Yeah. Awesome! Wow, I can't believe that. I can't believe that somewhere all of those people are in this movie. So
who's going to be the first to edit IMDb's trivia section for this movie and say, like, some people say that Elvis Presley appears holding the playbill?
I don't know, but if someone wants to do that and screenshot and send it to me, I might send them something fun.
Actually, go on Elvis Presley's IMDb page.
Yes.
Under the goofs, put goof. Elvis is considered to have died in 1977, but he's in Muppets Take Manhattan, so that can't be true.
Yep, excellent, love it.
Yes, please, all of those things.
All right. But anyways, the curtain opens. The set is a giant Manhattan Melodies logo. As you know, as often during the overture, you'll see the logo for a show. I love that one. I think that looks incredible. That giant Manhattan Melodies logo on the stage.
Yeah, we've talked about how the vibe of the show does seem pleasingly old-fashioned, and this really drives that home.
Right.
One thing I'd never noticed until watching this is, and of course they should be there, but Statler and Waldorf are in the balcony.
They are?
Yeah, I'd never noticed it until watching this.
I thought they weren't there because they
is that them on
first tickets
that's
out of
them
House Right?
House Right, where they usually should be.
Wow.
So they got tickets for the first flight out of town. That was just a joke.
That's it.
They didn't actually do it. Oh, all right.
Wow, that's amazing. If I had ever noticed that, I had completely missed it this time.
Yeah,
so,
well,
wow,
I just
great.
Never noticed it until this time. I just shut up there. I'm like, of course that's where they should be.
You're just scouring every inch of this frame.
I haven't got a life.
That's why we call you Eagle Eyes Fairclough, boss. All right.
Thank you. You get a promotion.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. And then I'm gonna put that on my business card. All right. So, Kermit, Piggy, Fozzie, Gonzo, Camilla, Scooter, and Rolf all come out, and they are once again singing "Together Again," a song we heard earlier in the movie, and they sing it here again. Do
you think Camilla is actually singing, or do you think she's just barking the whole time?
I hope she's clucking. I really hope she's clucking.
Yeah, that's what the chickens have done on the Muppet Show, and in this movie, even when they did the William Tell overture, it was
in
clucking.
The style of Tony Bennett. Yeah.
Yes. Is she clucking in the style of Tony Bennett here?
Yeah, I don't know.
Or is she clucking in the style of some Broadway star instead?
Yes, she's clucking in the style of Ethel Merman.
Perfect.
But anyways, Dr. Teeth then excitedly yells, "Hey, it's Kermit." And the rest of the Electric Mayhem say, "Yeah!" Which I love. It's like they're so excited to see that guy. They thought he was gone forever.
Well, that's it. It must have been quite tense for them over the last, 20, 30 minutes, sitting there going, "Oh, all right, we got to play this show. We have no idea what's going to happen." And then Kermit comes out, and it's just like, "Oh, thank God." Oh,
right.
All right. Yeah. So
they were just, for all you know, they were just going to have to play the songs for 2 hours, and nothing was going to happen on stage.
Right. Then that song ends immediately. Like they sing together again for approximately 20 seconds in Manhattan Melodies. And then Kermit and the gang hop on a bus, and the Manhattan Melodies logo lifts up, revealing a New York City set. And this is when the thrills really start. Because we see some bears are shopping, some other bears are making deliveries, some other bears are directing traffic. It is a country bear. It is a city bear jamboree.
Well done.
When the curtain goes, thank you. But I guess, like you said, Ryan, like these bears are full body characters, so I guess that's why, right?
Yeah, I guess these are just costumes,
show
essentially.
The whole stage. Yeah.
I would have liked to have seen
the whole stage with bears walking.
Would have liked to have seen giant walk-around versions of Bill, Gil, and Jill, but like terrifyingly huge, but not
just
address it.
Like Muppet Show Live.
Yeah,
version.
yeah.
Like,
yeah, we do see them just kind of like mosey across the stage.
Yeah, they sort of go for a little
it's
wander.
just a closer shot.
Right,
Yeah.
which, speaking of which, I wonder if, like we said earlier, that Gil goes, Phil? So, do those three still think Phil is Phil when they're in this musical? Like, are they told about Kermit before they go on? Like, there's no time.
They might.
They're just like, yeah, I'm glad we tried a new place for the theater today. Or
now, here's a question that might not be worth asking. The three bears, the three bears, one of them is wearing a dress. One of them, the one who's directing traffic, is wearing like the top half of a police uniform, but no pants. Is the delivery, the bicycle delivery bear wearing pants? I'm just trying to figure out, like, are pants optional for bears in the city?
The delivery driver is not wearing pants. I've got it up here.
I couldn't tell for sure because he's kind of in the shadows, but you don't think he's wearing pants?
I don't believe so. From what I can see here, so I think it's just, and I think there's one holding balloons. It's just got an apron on.
Oh, yeah, in the back. Yeah. Okay.
There's another one on a skateboard just wearing a shirt. I think it's like Winnie the Pooh. I think they can do whatever they like.
Right. Okay.
You guys, those are bears. Frogs wear pants.
I guess, do we know in this movie, do frogs wear pants? Do we see?
I was just talking about, no, Christine, that's a frog again.
I know, but now you got me thinking about Bill, Gil, and Jill and whether they wear pants.
I mean, earlier,
I don't know.
I would imagine they're going to wear pants.
Suit coats, yeah.
I think they do.
I mean, earlier in the film, when Kermit's in the hospital, she does say to him, the doctor does say, you weren't wearing any clothes.
Right.
So, should he have been wearing clothes the whole time? Is it like expected that frogs should be wearing clothes and Kermit's just like a nudist?
Yeah, we talked about that a little bit and how weird that scene is and sort of inconsistent with the way the rest of the movie treats Kermit. But yeah, I guess. Well, I mean, either way, nobody's gonna. Apparently, the bears are not worried about being called out for their half nudity.
Is this going to be one of those things where
acceptable.
This going to be one of those things where like someone's going to bring it up on Twitter and then like Bobo's going to get cancelled?
Oh no, I hope not.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope Bobo gets cancelled. No, I'm just kidding.
Cancel Emily Bear. Not Emily Bear, what's her name?
No.
Beth Bear.
Yeah, Beth.
Bear. Yeah,
no,
cancel
Emily
Beth Bear.
That's Fozzie's mom.
Yeah, no. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
She's not in this. I wish she was. I wish Fozzie's mom was in everything. She's my favorite Muppet.
Yes. Well, she was just in those Facebook Portal commercials last year.
She was. And we just watched Muppets from Space. I said this, Mike. Told you guys this off mic. My kids and I watched Muppets from Space today. There is a photograph of Fozzie and his mom.
That's nice.
On the mantle in that movie.
I like that.
Because Gonzo's sad because everyone has family but him. So it's like Piggy with Andy and Randy.
It's
Fozzie
weird.
With his mom.
Sorry, I know we're not talking about Muppets from Space, but it's weird that they have just a photo of Gonzo like in the distance on a beach looking sad.
Yeah, who took that picture?
And who went, that's a nice picture. I'm gonna print that out and frame it.
I'm gonna frame that, put it in the house, yeah. But although this was 1999, so probably it was taken on film in the first place.
Oh yeah.
And anyways,
remember that for 3 years from now.
I will. I'll try my best. But some old Muppet favorites do show up on stage after this. We see Bunsen and Beaker in a taxi. And then we see Beauregard and Camilla in a newspaper delivery truck, which I would love to know what those two are talking about. You know, they're just like hanging out.
Beauregard might think he can speak chicken. Like, he might be trying to speak chicken. Like,
yeah.
Cluck,
right.
cluck, 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 cluck.
Right. And then, like, as you mentioned, the frogs all just kind of walk by. They just kind of mosey on by. And then finally, we see a newspaper land by a newsstand. And on this newspaper, which the newspaper is the New York Sun, a paper that existed from 1833 until 1950. And then later, like, had a comeback in the 21st century. But when they made this movie, nobody knew that was going to happen. So,
an unrelated New York Sun came back in the 2000s.
Right. But, so at this time, though, it's just like an old-fashioned name of a like, again, talking about how this movie is the musical is like nostalgic and old fashioned.
Yeah.
They deliberately chose the name of a dead newspaper, like that was, it existed in the 30s or whatever,
Right. And Wikipedia says the New York Sun was considered a serious paper, like the city's two more successful broadsheets, the New York Times and the New York Herald Tribune. I think the implication there is that the other papers, the New York Post and the New York Daily News, are not considered serious papers. So Wikipedia coming in with a little bit of a dig on those other papers, but still encyclopedic.
Well, was it serious enough that they were going to post a headline that somebody's getting married? Because a lot of people get married every day. Now, granted...
yeah, it's on the front page.
And we should say that the headline is extra.
Extra.
So it's
somebody's
extra
getting
This is
married.
an extra edition.
Bright future predicted.
Special edition.
Now...
Right, so it's a special edition just to announce that somebody's getting married, bright future predicted. Go on.
And before we... Oh, okay, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, like, I know this must be, like, exciting for people, but it's not newsworthy. Like, someone in, interstate from me could be getting married. Great, I don't care. I don't need it to be on my news. Like, good luck to them. I hope they have a bright future predicted. But I don't care.
Yeah, that's why that goes in a separate section of the paper toward the back.
I'm starting to realize why this paper got discontinued.
Right.
Yeah.
But also the stack of newspapers lands on the stage in front of the newsstand set in such a way that it could not possibly be read by the audience. I just wanted to point that out.
And that's the beginning. That's the first hint that this Broadway play is going to transform into a movie.
Yes.
Right? Because like once we get to the wedding, there's no audience. Like there's no way for the audience to see the wedding.
Yeah.
There's just an audience in attendance at the church who are all Muppets.
And that's why...
Right. As it goes on, they don't care about keeping up the illusion that it's a stage show.
Well, that's why
it stops being a theatrical
It's
production.
performance art, because the things close and the audience can hear it, but they can't see it. And that's deep, guys. Like, if you don't appreciate that, I can't help you.
Sure. But you know what I do appreciate? A news terrier voiced by Steve Whitmire, who says... Extra, extra, somebody's getting married. And then, I appreciate even more, another news dog voiced by Richard Hunt, who sounds exactly like Gunge from Fraggle Rock, who says, in surprise and delight, somebody's getting married. Hey, somebody... And that's where we end.
That's where we cut. Now, you two, I'm assuming you're both married.
We are indeed.
I am not.
Our wives have both appeared on this program.
I am not married. What I'm hoping for, and I'm going to say this on the record in the hopes that when I do get married, my bridal party hears this. I'm hoping that my bridal party do the whole somebody's getting married number the morning of my wedding. Mm-hmm. I won't be settling for anything less. I will be hiring Steve Whitmire to come in and yell, extra, somebody's getting married. Unfortunately, Richard Hunt has passed at this point, so I can't do this anymore. But I'll get someone else. I'll get David Rodman to take over.
Sure. So can I tell you, actually, on the morning of my actual wedding, 10 years ago, all day in my head, I had not this song from Muppets Take Manhattan, which might make sense and be reasonable for a normal person. What I had in my head was, what a morning. It's Luis's wedding day from Maria and Luis's
that makes sense.
Wedding episode of Sesame Street.
Yeah, that's a terrific
I thought you were going to say something unrelated like Hugga Wugga.
Oh,
just walking around going, Hugga Wugga.
No, it was, what a morning. It's Maria's wedding day. Oh, man, great. So good.
That is something that doesn't come up nearly as much as, say, the death of Mr. Hooper or even the birth of Gabriella. But that is one of the all-time best moments of Sesame Street, that wedding episode.
Yeah, it's great. It's wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was not at all upset. You know what I mean?
No, you shouldn't have. But I will talk about this a little bit more next week. But I actually had this actual recording played as part of the processional at my wedding.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yes.
Awesome. Yeah, we I think I told you this, Ryan. We had, or I think I surprised that on the show. We had The First Time It Happens as our first dance.
Nice.
That's great. Yeah.
Yeah, I had a friend walk after a wedding had finished when they sort of walked down and everyone was leaving the church. They had Life's a Happy Song play.
Oh, see,
that was our walkout song too.
Nice.
Oh, sure. See, that wasn't out yet when I got married.
In
the summer of 2011.
You should have waited.
You should have known.
I should have waited to have a less good song from a less good Muppet movie in my wedding than the one that I did. Yes, that's what I should have done. And I like "Life's a Happy Song." I think it's a good song. It's the first time it happens.
I'll agree with that.
Can I say just quickly as well before we sort of finish up, the one thing I noticed, and literally it's like a split frame second, is that when the Richard Hunt character shouts, "Somebody's getting," right? Who I think is Beth Bear, but I'm not quite sure, like, spins around really quickly, almost like whoever the puppeteer, costume performer, whatever it was, like missed their mark, like missed their cue, I should say, and they spin around really quickly, and it's too brief to be intentional. And so I don't know if someone just missed a cue or whatever it was, or maybe it is meant to be there. But yeah, it took me by surprise when I first noticed it.
Is it the bear wearing the doorman's uniform? Yeah. Yeah, it goes by so fast I can't even tell. Like, really what's happening.
You wouldn't know unless you look at this thing frame by frame, which I did because I don't have a life.
But your lack of a life is to our benefit here on the podcast.
Great. I'm glad I could. Sure. I'm glad I could do something to really elevate the show.
Yes.
No, we appreciate it. So Ryan, do you have anything else before we close?
I do. I have actually a few notes from the March 7th, 1983 draft of the screenplay. When Kermit decides to recruit all the other Muppets into the show, he grabs several copies of the script and says, "Here, do you think you can learn these parts in a few minutes?" A bear says, "Nope," and a dog says, "No way," and Beauregard says, "I can't read." And then a stage manager says, "The curtain's going up," and Kermit just throws the scripts in the air and says, "Just have fun with it." That would have been fun to see. Yeah. I guess it would have slowed things down just a little bit, but it's
I don't
funny.
think it's necessary. I like it better this way.
I do like the joke that Bo can't use the script because he can't read.
Yeah.
And then there's one moment with Statler and Waldorf as the curtain's going up. Statler says, "Well, they made it to Broadway." Waldorf says, "Yep." Statler says, "Well?" Waldorf says, "What?" Statler says, "Aren't we going to heckle them?" Waldorf says, "Oh yeah, I forgot. Boo, terrible." Statler, "Awful, get off the stage." Waldorf, "Well, it wasn't that bad." Statler, "Actually, it wasn't." Waldorf, "It was pretty good, really." Statler, "It was wonderful." And then they both say, "Bravo, marvelous, more." Which
that's
we've kind of seen them
from the Muppet Show.
Yeah, they've done that before.
Yeah. So I guess that's why, even though they are there, maybe they filmed that and then decided, kind of...
Like, we've done that.
Been there, done that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And plus, not only is it on the Muppet Show, it's on one of the records.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think that's why it's even less good. Like, I just feel like it's one of those things people really remember from the Muppet Show. You know,
right? People would have already been familiar with
episode.
it.
Yeah.
Do you think that Statler and Waldorf secretly really enjoy the Muppet Show, but they just assume the other one hates it, so that's why they heckle it? Like, this just showed to like, "Oh, that was bad. Yeah, it was bad. It wasn't that bad. No, you're right, it wasn't that bad. Actually, it was pretty good. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Yeah, I loved it. Oh, bravo, that was great." Like, that back and forth. I think they're just making it up. I think they both love it.
Yeah, neither of them wants to be the only one who has that opinion.
Yeah, exactly right.
That's a pretty common social, social pressure thing. Yeah, I would buy that. I think
you should get a psychologist on here for this.
Well, that feels like something that Roger Langridge would have done in that Muppet Show comic book. Like, somehow that feels like one of those stories. I don't think it was, but
yeah, it does. It does feel like him.
I'd like to see them tackle that sometime. Sure. The other one, so there's a lot more to the show on stage in the draft. It says that Gonzo performs a death-defying stunt from a skyscraper. Bunsen and Beaker perform with their latest invention, the all-singing, all-dancing Manhattan mailbox. The Penguins tap dance in front of a set piece of Radio City Music Hall. That would have been fun to see.
So this sounds a little more like the 2011 movie, where they put on the Muppet Show.
Where they're actually doing variety acts. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
The Three Frogs sing with the Gills Brothers, the singing fish act from the Muppet Show. I would have loved to see them come back. And the Rats would play pipes, like sewer pipes, but they would play them like xylophones. So it's a little bit too much. Like, definitely at this point, it's like, all right, this is the end of the movie. Let's just get to the end of it. But
yeah,
a lot of fun stuff there.
Agreed.
Especially the Gills Brothers. When was the last time we saw them in anything?
I don't even remember who they are, so that's really exciting.
You'd know them if you saw them.
Yeah,
I'm sure I would.
Yeah.
I've seen every episode of the Muppet Show, so I'm sure I have. Like, I definitely have seen it. Yeah, I'm pretty cool, guys. I've seen every episode of the Muppet Show.
They sang a few songs. They're just these three green fish wearing tuxedos. I want to say.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah, I'm not much of a Muppet
fan,
so I haven't seen it.
No,
you wouldn't know.
Yeah, they didn't really get the Muppet Show in Australia. All right. Anyways, Jarrod, what we do want to hear is when did you first see this movie? Do you remember? What's your history with it? Where do you rank it among the Muppet movies?
Okay, so this is like my Muppet movie. The reason being is that, like, the very first time I ever saw The Muppets, I remember it, I was about 6 years old. I was at my best friend's house, and I came down with tonsillitis. And it came on really quickly. And so my friend's mum was like, who I still blame now, like, every time I see her, I'm like, this is all your fault, that I'm into these characters, so she sat us down, she's like, I'm going to put on the Muppet movie. Or a movie, and put on the Muppet movie, and I just fell in love. Like, I knew Kermit, but that was it. But that was from Sesame Street. And so then I went home and told Mum how much I liked these Muppets and these characters. And then my birthday was coming up, and I actually got given the VHS of Muppets Take Manhattan. And it was the movie that I watched every weekend. Like, I reckon now I could still sit there and tell you this film start to end. Like, quote it. And so that so this was like my Muppet movie, and it was probably a good couple of years until I got the Muppet movie on VHS, and started getting the other ones on VHS, DVDs eventually, everything like that. As far as ranking it, nostalgically, I really have a place in my heart for it, but then now I can look at it and see that it's not quite as good. Like, the Muppet movie is my number one. I would, in my, say, 10 years ago, I probably would have ranked it before even Muppet Christmas Carol. But that movie I've now got a real deep love for, now that I can sort of understand why they did what they did. Like, I used to hate that movie because I think Kynan Barker once said, oh, look, it's a Muppet movie where the Muppets have a cameo. Whereas now I can sort of...
Christmas Carol,
now I can understand why they went that way. Now I'd probably...
There's a classic Tough Pigs article where Danny and Kynan...
I think it's in that...
I think it's just tear it a new one.
It's in that article, I think, that Kynan says that. Yeah. It might be Danny who says it. But
it's funny, you were talking about the article. I kind of just assumed that you and Kynan like see each other all the time. I both live in Australia.
Kynan and I are friends. I spoke to Kynan the other day. I've had dinner with him. He's a lovely guy. Awesome. He's a friend of mine.
That's heartwarming.
It is funny though that at the time of that article, the movie was probably about 10 years old. Yeah. So it was not yet. Like, now people have grown up with it, watching it every year their whole lives. So now I'd probably I'd rank it. Again, keep in mind that I love all of them, but I'd probably rank it... I'd say my least favourite is probably The Muppets from 2011, and then I'd put it maybe above that. So I'd rank it maybe higher than The Muppets, but lower than the other ones. I'd probably put it maybe above Muppets from Space as well. So this one is your third to last.
Yeah.
Good, all right, man.
Good job.
Yeah.
It's cool. I'm sure I've heard or read your story of how you first came across the Muppets before, but it's cool that you have such a specific origin story there. Because I think for a lot of us, it's just kind of like, I guess I just grew up watching the shows and the movies, and my parents always showed me the stuff on TV.
Well, I had like a bit be like, I love for the Muppets watching these things anyway, but it wasn't anything that I was like obsessed with. And then when I was about 10 or 11, I started getting like, I'd be obsessed with something for 6 months. I got obsessed with Garfield at one point for like 6 months. Couldn't tell you why.
Sure. Who
yeah, we all
did not.
Yeah. Like Garfield for 6 months. I remember, and then, sorry, there was a couple other things.
Go on. I remember excitedly buying Garfield's Book of Insults, Put-Downs, and Slams at the book fair in 4th grade.
Well, there you go.
And my mom told me I was not allowed to use them.
Oh, boo.
And have you used any of them to this day?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Okay, good.
But then when I was about 12 or so, that I remember watching the Muppet movie again, thinking, "Oh, I'll chuck this on. We'll see it," and then going. That's when I started to think about the other side of things, like the puppeteer side of things. That's when I started to figure out who Jim Henson was, and that's when it was like, and it just went from there. And so,
awesome.
And so I really can almost chart it, like year by year.
Yeah, that's great.
Awesome. That's great. All right. Well, that just about brings us down to the end. Jarrod, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you very much for having me.
And I'll be at work first thing tomorrow morning.
Please do. If you can have the right. that report on my desk by 9 a.m., that'd be great.
All right. Listeners, you can check out toughpigs.com on the internet, Facebook, Twitter, and all those places. You can become our patron on Patreon, and you can email us at movingrightalong@toughpigs.com.
Thank you so much for mentioning Patreon, because I have totally been forgetting to mention it.
Yeah, you helpfully added it to the outro, so I'm just reading it off the page, my man.
Good.
and then thank you to Stacey Rosen for writing our theme music, and to Morgan Davy for designing our logo. You can follow Ryan on Twitter at @MeRyanRowe. You can follow Ryan on Letterboxd at @MoviesAreNeat, and you can follow me on Letterboxd at @ZeppoMarxist. I just made a list that I'm very proud of on Letterboxd, where I ranked all 24 movies directed by Mel Brooks, Albert Brooks, or James L. Brooks. So check that out if you want to.
You should be proud of that list.
Thank you. And Jarrod, where can our listeners find you on the internet?
You can find me on Twitter. It's at Jazz Fairclough. And you can also find me now on Tough Pigs, because here I am, gang. Again, like I said, I'm slowly...
Right where you belong.
Where I belong. I'm slowly taking over.
Right where you belong. Great. All right. And you can also give us a positive review, a more positive review than I gave Young Frankenstein, my #1 Brooks movie. And tell all your friends to listen to the show, and we'll be back next week with another episode of Moving Right Along. Goodbye.
Bye.